Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's VC Task Force Gary's Picks event for investors and startups. My name is Joel Rosenberg, Director of Business Development and Strategy for VC Task Force. VC Task Force is an organization where the venture community comes together to address critical issues, provide workshops and other events for the benefit of the venture and entrepreneurial communities. VC Task Force provides access to an extensive ecosystem of VCs, corporate VCs, and angel investors. You may ask any questions anytime during the event, and time permitting, they will be answered live after today's interview. It is my pleasure to welcome Gary's Picks host, Gary Fowler. Gary is CEO and co-founder of GSD Venture Studios, an award-winning growth stage AI venture studio. Gary is also co-founder of the award-winning AI startup, Eva.ai, as well as the investment firm DY Investments. Today, Gary will be interviewing special guest, Ben Guihot, CEO, co-founder of NFT Apparel. NFTA is a Web3 SaaS e-commerce platform for NFT monetization and merchandising. Print-on-demand companies and fashion brands gain access to NFT digital artwork and redistribution rights, while NFT projects can create instant physical brands around their projects and artwork. Ben brings over 10 years experience in traditional financial services, blockchain education, and project management, along with a passion for blockchain technologies and entrepreneurship. Ben is currently working on founding the NFTA ecosystem with the goal of removing the barriers to entry on NFTs, monetizing existing projects, and providing physical brands for digital assets. Ben realized that the utility of the digital NFT assets is entirely underserved and decided to create an ecosystem that provides utility to NFT assets by providing access for print and demand companies and fashion brands to NFT digital artwork and redistribution rights. Take it away, Gary.
Thanks, Joe. Great to see you, Ben, and great to have our entire audience here today. As Joe said, my name's Gary Fowler. So, Ben, I have some questions for you. How in the world do you go from an insurance broker to doing NFTs?
I mean, I guess that's a bit of a long story, but look, it was sort of at the height of the COVID lockdowns. We suffered a lot from it here in Australia, like the lockdowns and everything like that. The whole ecosystem for businesses in Australia was sort of hammered, and while that was all going down, we were in insurance. We were losing clients. No one could afford to keep their businesses open, so they couldn't afford to buy insurance anymore. And I sort of got back into the crypto space a bit. I'd left it alone since 2017. I just thought, oh, it's a bit too volatile for me. For day trading or anything like that, I sort of left it alone. I got back into the space again in 2021 with a bit of time on my hands, and I seen, all the crazy new stuff that was going on, and the new NFT wave that was coming in as well. And I looked at NFTs and I thought, there's something missing here. There's these digital assets, but there's something missing. And then, I sort of started putting my mind to it, bouncing ideas off a couple of people, and then that's where we settled. Like, well, how about NFT Apparel? How about we find a way to create, redistribution rights, digital brands and everything like that, and apply them to physical products? And that's sort of where we came up with it back in 2021, and we've just been smashing it out ever since then.
Now, you were with Peak Insurance. What does Peak Insurance do?
I've also done, so that's Peak Finance. Peak Finance is basically just a Web3 DeFi protocol. They work on it's called seniorage. So it works on seniorage to basically generate and maintain a token value based off an underlying asset. So I helped the Peak Finance team as sort of a guide and they called me a co-founder, but I was sort of there to help them apply basic business sort of principles to what would otherwise be just sort of some people with coding knowledge getting together and trying to make a protocol, if you know what I mean. So I came in there and gave them a bit of advice on how to market, how to go with strategies on getting people involved in their communities and whatnot. And that was sort of my role within Peak Finance. Prior to that, I was New Era Insurance Solutions and Insurance AdvisorNet Australia. So Insurance AdvisorNet is Australia and New Zealand's biggest brokerage network. I think they're about 1.1 billion annual revenue there. So I was a authorized representative within that group and ran my own portfolio. Built that up sort of from start to finish. Same thing with New Era Insurance Solutions, and yeah, sold that company back in 2021 and went all in on the crypto.
No, that's great. How's everything gone with crypto? What's happening these days?
No, the market is volatile to say the least. So we had a few good trading weeks there for a little while, but for most of this year, it has been an absolute bear market. I think crypto's felt it even more than the stock market for the most part. Obviously, the stock market has been pretty either. The Nasdaq and the likes have been absolutely hammered with everything that's going on with quantitative tightening and all the rest of it. And the crypto market hasn't been immune, but it seems to have decoupled even further in the last couple of days. And Bitcoin's
What happened, Ben? What happened? Because I bought Ethereum myself, so I actually wrote it up, and I remember my wife said to me, "You're crazy to sell it." I said, "I don't care what it is. The pigs get slaughtered. I'm not going to. I liked it. It's great, but I'm going to sell it." And I sold it, and I made money.
Yeah.
And I went, and then it dropped. But why is it like Ethereum? And it's just interesting, right? Here's an incredible crypto that can do a whole lot of things. Why are they dropping? It's just, I don't understand why they're dropping so far.
Yeah, so a lot of the crypto space, I feel, is a lot more affected by the macroeconomic news purely because it is an open space. There's very little regulation in comparison to, say, the stock markets in traditional finance. So, anyone and everyone can be in there. And the fact that anyone and everyone can be in there means that they're not all educated investors. There's a lot of people that just sort of see one bit of bad news and they dump all their coins. There's a lot of people that retail investors that just don't really know what they're doing, and the market sort of fluctuates with fear and greed a lot more than what, say, a traditional financial market does, when banks and institutionals have specific investment strategies that they have to stand behind. They can't say, "Oh, well, the bad day today, I'm going to dump everything." They've got to run through the books and make sure everything's above board before they make a trade. I think that's a big part as to why crypto seems a lot more volatile. Obviously, the volume's not there as well. So, the overall market cap for crypto is below $1 trillion now. And I mean, when you compare that to, let's say, the Nasdaq and all the rest of it, then it's just no comparison. So small moves make bigger moves within the market space than what it does in traditional markets. But that will change. Obviously, there's new regulations coming in every single day. The US and the SEC are working on tightening regulations around, whether crypto assets are securities, whether they're just utility tokens. Same thing's happening in Australia here. They're doing token mapping now, which is meant to be a entirely original way of sort of viewing these asset classes and these companies that are built off them, to make sure that they fit within the frameworks that are developed for traditional business and that have protected, traditional investors for, let's say, centuries now, sort of thing.
No, that's amazing. So, if you look at it, so where are we with NFTs? Are they affected now because of the crypto spiraling down, and how much? What kind of impact? Let's look 6 months ago or 8 months ago. How much down are they compared to what they were?
Oh, it's incomparable. So I read the Q3 report a couple of last week now, I think it was, and the overall trade volume, I think, for the last 6 months has been down around 80 to 90% in general.
Wow.
So that is overall trade volume. Days held. So the average NFT day held was traditionally about 17 days on average. Someone would hold an NFT and then sell it. Within that space, that's more than doubled now. So people are holding onto their assets for around 45 days on average. Q3 this year was the first time that the NFT space had an actual profit loss. So there were more people selling at a loss than there were, selling at profit. So the overall resale of NFTs was at a negative for the first time since the NFT wave sort of hit. So the NFT space has absolutely felt it, but it needed to happen because people were just making garbage, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
there,
I mean, how
a lot
was
of
it? I
these,
mean, it was like crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff would come out and it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
got to get it. Like, I mean, what was it? Crypto kitties or whatever? I don't, was
Yeah.
it? I mean, how did they do? What happened with crypto kitties? I don't hear a thing about them anymore.
It's still there. It's sits in the background, same as a lot of these projects. They all still exist. They're just not as big as they once were.
Mhm.
Same thing, could be said about the crypto punks and the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. Like, they absolutely dominated the market, but their market share is gradually declining now as far as overall value of the products go. And my personal opinion is it's good that NFTs have been hammered because it's going to be companies that actually have real utility that are the ones that are left standing. And companies that don't have real utility, that are just pumping out pictures for the sake of pictures and hoping that people buy, sell, then there's still going to be plenty of those that exist in the next bull run. But all of them that exist now, they're going to have their work cut out for them to prove that they're actually worth something, which I think is good for the space.
I mean,
And it's
that
good
should
for
have
our
happened
company as
right
well.
from the beginning, Ben, no, right? It should have
Yeah.
happened right from the beginning. It's like, I saw this stuff. I got to be honest with you. I mean, there was so much, I never forget. I saw somebody actually take a picture and put some garbage on it, right? Like literally did it, and that sold for $500,000. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, this is like senseless. This,
Yeah.
because he had a celebrity, attached to it. I'm like, this is like, seriously, this is like crazy. I don't know about you, but like you take like 10 seconds and, just because you're a celebrity and put something together and everybody wants to buy it. It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's like, what do you hold? Nothing. Where's it
Yeah.
gone? I don't know. It's like crazy.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of people out there that are just holding on to these digital artwork NFTs now, and they've got nothing to do with them. So that's exactly where NFT Apparel sort of fits in now, is that we're like, well, how about we provide something that you can do with them? You can provide resale, but sure, no one's
So
buying
let's,
them at the moment.
Ben,
So
talk about that. Talk about how your model works, because you got an
yeah,
incredible
absolutely.
product. Talk about how that works.
So high level, an NFT holder, let's say, we'll use digital art as reference. Obviously, there's lots of different types of NFTs. There's utility NFTs, there's gaming NFTs, there's all sorts of different NFTs, but we'll just focus on artwork for now, just for simplicity. So let's say someone comes in with a digital artwork NFT. It's a picture of a monkey or something like that, right? They can buy or sell them on the open market. That's how traditionally the NFT marketplaces have worked. Someone has a picture, someone else wants it, they buy it, profit, loss, so on. But that's all that's been happening. What we do is we provide an ecosystem where people can come in and they can stake their digital assets. So these digital assets, they can put them into our ecosystem. Those NFT digital assets then
Can
become
you,
available.
Ben, for some of the audience might not understand the term stake. Can you explain what stake means?
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically like lodging into a contract saying, yes, it's now physically within this ecosystem. So it moves into a smart contract, which is basically like a bit of code. It's simply just saying, yep, it is now available within this ecosystem. So unstaked means it's not within the code ecosystem. Staked means that it's now available within that ecosystem. So very much the same as sort of lodging something within an ecosystem. So yeah, the users can come in and stake their NFTs, so lodge their NFTs within our ecosystem. Those digital artworks then become available for anyone around the world to use, whether it be on physical apparel, whether it be on wall art, whether it be for website design, imaging, stock imaging, anything like that. That becomes available for anyone else around the world to use. Every single time that particular image is used, the NFT staker, so the owner of that digital NFT, they will receive a percentage of the profits made from this, any use of that particular item. So let's say a clothing company, for example, right? Nike comes in and they say, hey, I really like this particular Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT. that someone has staked. Nike can say, we want to do a range of clothing off this particular ape. And then every single time a t-shirt is sold using that particular item, the percentage of the profits come back to the actual owner of that digital artwork. So that's sort of like a high level of how the ecosystem works. We are also supplying stock imaging to print-on-demand companies, merchandising companies, everything like that. So people that work at the absolute back end of the supply chains, they can actually have access to these digital artworks and create, or will just offer them to any of their customers, whether it be print-on-demand customers, whether it be small corner stores or mum and pop operations that are hoping to just launch a little clothing brand or something like that. Standard stock imaging is just, look, it's there, but it's boring. That's another little niche that we see, and we're like, well, stock imaging is boring, and then there's literally damn near infinite amount of this digital artwork that is getting created every single day that has actual intrinsic value and is tied to an owner and is on-chain verifiable. Why don't we start supplying that to people and get rid of boring stock imagery? Let's make something awesome and make something happen with all this digital artwork that's out there.
Wow, that's amazing. And well, how would they use it? Explain to it. So somebody gets the digital artwork, and what would they do with it?
Well, I mean, that's entirely up to them. Look, our ecosystem automatically provides the merchandising capabilities. So if someone, say, owns a clothing brand and they want to create more clothing lines using particular imaging, we can supply that. We've got all the manufacturing and everything like that sorted within our back end. So it could be wall art, could be T-shirts, could be hoodies, could be shoes, could be anything like that.
So they can customize them, right? So you have it's like
absolutely.
custom printing. It's almost like custom printing, right? Using NFTs.
Yes, absolutely. So you can do custom printing. So we do facilitate the whole custom printing side of things using NFTs, and it still sort of circles the profit distributions back through to the digital asset owners, and obviously the company ourselves, we take a cut and everything like that. So it's cycles back through the ecosystem. So you can 100% do that, or alternatively, if you want to use it for website design, you can simply use the images for stock imagery from website designs, video designs, anything you can think of that you want to do with a particular piece of art. We're going to facilitate that.
Now, how's business?
Business is good. Look, honestly, we started slow at the beginning of the year because we were focused on the build. We've sort of slowly been ramping up. We've released our NFT marketplace. So the NFT marketplace is live on 5 blockchains currently. So that is on Ethereum mainnet, Polygon, Metis Andromeda, Avalanche, and Binance Smart Chain. So we're live on 5 chains with our NFT marketplace. The actual storefront, which is for customizing apparel and everything like that, we've made about 40 plus NFT project partners at the moment that we are supplying exclusive merchandise for. So we supply their communities and everything like that. Some of these communities have over 100,000 followers on Twitter and everything. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're pretty stoked with some of our partnerships that we've picked up, and we've got monthly increased revenue. We've deployed our minting as a service ecosystem, so that is where we can create zero code NFT collections that can be that are deployed with a whole actual application for people to come in and click and mint. So no one else had done this before either. That everyone was supplying single mint or multiple asset mints without deploying an actual application for people to come in and hold mint events. So what we've been able to do is now, if an artist comes in and say, hey, I've got 1,000 pictures, right? And I want to hold a mint event. I want to hold a community. I want people to come in. I want to build my hype, and then they come in and they can mint. We actually have a zero code infrastructure that deploys smart contracts, the front end for the application, the URLs, uploads the images to IPFS, which is the file storage that you use for the actual the NFTs. It does everything. So we've basically 100% removed the barrier to entry for any artist to come in or anyone wanting to create NFTs to come in and do it. And our MVP is on the way. So we're in testing. We're on our final stages of the actual development for the MVP, which will have all the redistribution rights and everything like that built into it to, enable our ecosystem.
So what does it mean, the redistribution rights? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah. So with redistribution rights, obviously what we are supplying there is the ability for anyone with these NFTs to actually rent them out and sell the redistribution rights. So when someone, say, comes in with an NFT that they themselves, they like their NFT or whatever, and other people like it as well, they can auction off the redistribution rights. So by auctioning off the redistribution rights, their NFT can be staked. They sell off the redistribution rights. They can then sell the NFT. They don't have to own the NFT anymore, but they've sold the actual rights for someone else to reproduce the NFT within our ecosystem on physical items or as the stock imaging or anything like that. So companies can actually come in and buy redistribution rights, particularly for certain digital assets. And then they can either do whatever they want with them on time frame. So it could be, say, a 1 year redistribution right. It could be a 5-year redistribution right. You could sort of take your picks. But it also enables the resale of the NFT. So the company doesn't have to buy the NFT itself, but they can, if they want, they can just buy the redistribution rights as well. And then, the NFT owner doesn't have to have it staked there. They can sell their NFT elsewhere. But the other company that's bought the redistribution rights owns the rights to reproduce it on any physical merchandise.
And how much do they get? Let's say a NFT costs $10,000. How much would redistribution rates cost?
Well, it's going to be auctions. So, if there's enough hype behind it, like we've seen crazy stuff happen within the NFT space, like you say. So, people buy crazy things to do crazy things with. So,
what's the craziest thing you've ever seen, Ben? What's the craziest
thing I've ever seen?
You just looked at it and you said, "This is nuts. This is absolutely off the deep end." But
okay, so probably the other day, Vitalik Buterin, so the guy who created Ethereum, so he basically, I think it was a tweet. He put out a tweet the other day. It would have been about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hey, imagine if someone created a coin called just the letter THE. So and someone did. Coders got out there, they coded it, and within 24 to 48 hours, this random token that just one guy decided to tweet about at some point in time was up 128,000%. So 12.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
12,000x in And this is in the height of the bear market as well. No one's buying, no one's selling.
Any other, Ben? Did you jump in?
I wish. No, I didn't see it until it had already 1200x, and I was sort of looking and I thought, no, this can't be real. And then researched it, and everyone's just sort of talking about it. I thought, this is ridiculous. This is so off the deep end. The fact that one person can make one tweet, and a couple of coders who had nothing else to do on their time but spend half an hour, create a token and deploy it, somehow managed to make millions and millions of dollars just because one guy tweeted something.
That's amazing. Wow. Now that's a good story. I love that stuff. That's amazing. So what's the future hold? What are you going to do over the next year?
Oh, absolutely. We've got so much planned. It's insane. So we're partnering up with a metaverse company. They are called TCG World. They are currently the world's biggest metaverse by land. So, most space in a game. We are partnering up with them. So every piece of NFT apparel that gets created through our ecosystem also generates a token, an NFT token of itself, which the purchaser can then use to put on their avatars within the metaverse. So all of this stuff is going to be real world items that are also an exact copy within the metaverse. So you can design a piece of apparel of your favorite picture on a t-shirt, wear it in real life, and then you've also got a copy of it to wear on your avatar playing these games. So that's
great. I love that.
So that's a big thing that we're setting up at the moment. I think that's going to be absolutely awesome. There's a lot of hype in the metaverse space. So we're super stoked to be their official partner for supplying, customizable apparel for all of their avatars within the space. So that's a big thing that we're working on. Obviously, our NFT deployment is imminent. So that's coming up before the end of the year. We'll have that out and sort of live and active. We're just in testing at the moment for that. So pretty stoked on that. We've got a few big things coming up in the actual NFT space itself. So we're not talking about collections. We're building a secondary add-on utility that involves wrapping within our NFT ecosystem. So the minting as a service ecosystem that I was telling you about before. We are going to enable customized investment strategies that can be generated from actual NFT creators. So you can come in with a collection of, say, 1,000 NFTs, and you can actually create investment strategies at the start of the mint, and then all of the funds that go that you make from that initial mint go to a treasury, which is then automatically traded per the investment strategy that you've selected. And then at the end of that, the entire treasury is liquidated. So it could be a time lock of 1 year, could be a 5 year, could be a 10 year. And at the end of that, the entire fund is liquidated and redistributed back to all the people that own the NFT at the time of liquidation. So we're creating these, basically, these are bonds. Called NFT bonds, that's what we're calling them anyway. And yeah, so every time a profit's made, every time a resale is made, all the royalties are sent to this treasury on the same investment strategy, and it just gradually builds up. So every time this NFT is traded, builds up, and at the end of it, it's all liquidated, all back to the NFT holders, and all of, whoever's holding that NFT at any given point, at the point of liquidation, is the person that takes their percentage of the profits at the end of it.
Well, that's amazing. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. It's great to have you here today. I like to thank Joel, June, and the entire VC Task Force team for making sure that Gary's Picks happens. My name is Gary Fowler, and I am your host. It is great to be here today. And Joel, take it away.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you so much. This is really informative. I know that our audience, this is a hot area, NFTs, and audience very interested in this topic right now. So thank you very much for that, Gary. Another great
interview. Thank you very
interview.
much for having me.
Of course, absolutely. And we look forward to tracking your progress going forward as well. So
yeah, no, we'll get a hold of you too, Ben. So we'll reach out. Sounds great. Thanks again.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks on the 23rd of November for the next edition of Gary's Picks. Until then, everybody stay well and take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.